Okay, everyone. Sorry, I'm currently outside recording this because I love the outdoors. And I'm at my parents' house where we have 5 acres of land, and you gotta love it. So I'm just swinging in a hammock recording this video. Anyways, so I wanted to go over this because there's been a lot of drama online about it. And I wanted to tell you guys my own perspective on this. Now, by the time I upload this, the competition will probably be over. I don't really care. I just wanted to give my opinion on it without all the drama included. So let's start off with the Wendigo. Now, the Wendigo is, well, really cool of a character. I do like it because it's based off a mythological creature, which I actually do like. I always loved the Grimm that were based off some sort of myth. Like, what were they called? The ones with, like, the head of a lion and tail of a snake, and, yeah, those ones. I like those characters. What are they called? Not a Cerberus. Cerberus three-headed dog. A chimera, there we go. Which is actually not just the word for that kind of creature, but a chimera is just several different creatures matched into one. Anyways, so yeah, the Wendigo is really cool. It's very fascinating. And by the way, I will link all these down below. You guys can go vote if the thing is still up by the time I upload this. But I like how its ribcage is able to emit a mist that is able to not only cause hallucinations, but also absorb them. However, I did not vote for this one, because for several reasons. Just because it seems kind of a bit basic for a character. We already have several characters with long, lanky arms. I mean, several Grimm, I should say. From the Horsemen, I'm sorry, I don't know the names of the Grimm. From the Horsemen of Volume 4 to the ones that suck out your motivation to do anything, your determination. Those ones, they all have very lanky arms. I don't see them as, that unique, because they all kind of look similar when you have this. Now, for the record, the one was on a horse, but you get my point. Then we have the Rhino Grimm. I'm not even going to give this one satisfaction, mostly because of all the drama online, but even if it wasn't filled with a bunch of drama, I don't care. It's not... okay, let me put it this way. We have a gorilla, we have a mammoth, we have a bear, we have a wolf, we have a bird, we have a snake, we have a scorpion. We have way too many Grimm that are based off real animals. We don't need another one. Now, I do think the rhino is probably one of the coolest animals you can use as a Grimm, but, like I said, we have too many. So, this one I just felt was too much like what we already had. It just didn't fit a new Grimm. I didn't want this added as a new Grimm. And I'm rating all these off of Grimm I want to be added, because the first place gets their Grimm added to the series. And like I said, we have enough of these already. Now, the Wendigo also would have been a weird thing to add in, because it just adds that, like, okay, a tall, lanky figure. It messes with the mind. It reminds me too much of the Volume 6? Yeah, Volume 6 Grimm that were introduced. The Hag. It's okay. It just, I don't like the witch aesthetic, because I mean we already have Salem, who is the witch. So that was the hammock I'm in. So I don't like the idea of a witch Grimm and Salem, who is Salem. She's a witch. Okay. My point is, it's just kind of meh. And I mean, also, it doesn't seem like something that would be very powerful on its own. Now, it'd be very hard to incorporate some sort of ability that makes it super powerful, because we already have a lot that, have long-range attacks. It really just doesn't work. And short range, it doesn't look like it'd be much of a fighter either. So, meh. I don't like it. We already have one witch, and we don't need another. Then we have the Sulfur Fish. Now, this was what I voted for many reasons, because it's just fascinating. Now, the description kind of does ruin it a bit. I do like the watching them from a distance, but unfortunately the fleeing from humans is probably unlikely for any Grimm. I don't believe Grimm really flee, especially not since they're controlled by Salem. They do swarm. I love the idea of a swarming Grimm, and they attack by latching onto their prey. I love that, as those tails almost look like they're molten. It looks so cool. I And honestly, I like the idea of a miniature scorpion kind of thing, because we have one big scorpion. I was telling my mom this earlier, too, and she also liked the sulfur fish most, without knowing any of the drama, because I didn't tell her about it until afterwards. I just think it's cool that they all combine into one, and I would love to see a bunch of sulfur fish versus whatever the scorpion is called. I'm sorry, once again, I don't know the names of the Grimm. But yeah, I just like how they're able to combine into one big thing. It reminds me a lot of the hunters from Halo, because they're like Golo worms, which is really cool. And for anyone who's not aware, the hunters from Halo are the same things that make up the scarabs from Halo. Yes, those giant tank destroyers are also made of like Golo worms. I think that's cool. But I love the idea of like creating one big Grimm, or, like this one reminds me of like a... I don't know. Whoops, sorry. Sorry, Wade, I can't look at you right now. I don't know, man. This one, it just looks cool as like a Grimm serpent. But this one reminds me of like a brawler type. Like, I like the idea of having several different types that it can transform into. That's always been a major thing with, evil creatures. If they can combine into something bigger, it can throw the characters off, It's just cool. And this one... I didn't really like this one, and I don't mean to be offensive or anything. It's just, one view isn't really enough for a Grimm. You need to have it from multiple sides, and even then, you don't really... Hello, car. Nice to see company on my road. We never get cars that go by because we live way out in the middle of nowhere. It doesn't really tell you anything about the Grimm. It's kind of just too basic. And also... it just looks like another animal-based Grimm, which, like I said, we don't need any more of those. Now, however, this could be like an alpha version, or like a leader of a group of these things that don't have as long of horns. I would like that kind of as a creature, but even then, the sulfur fish will always be better, in my opinion. Just because the sulfur fish... 2 cars in like 1 minute? That's amazing. Sorry. Very shocking to me. We never get company. But I love the sulfur fish. This was my vote. This was the only one I really could genuinely vote for. The other ones all seemed like something that would just be kind of weird in the world of RWBY. Now, a lot of people I know have voted for this as like, oh, either the drama online made me do this, which, I mean, you kind of chose that way either way. You didn't get forced to vote for that Grimm, you just chose to do it. So, but also, one of the things I loved was that a lot of my friends voted because they just liked the creature. They didn't do it because that's the creature they wanted in RWBY. No, they just voted for that creature because it looks cool. And unfortunately, that's not what this competition is about. The competition is what Grimm will be added into RWBY. Now, as someone who still supports the series, despite all of the negativity in the community and a lot of the downhill, failures of RWBY, I've still stuck with it. And Volume 7 was amazing. It really brought back the series for me. It didn't get back up to full par, but it did get much better than it was. The fight scenes were amazing, and everything was great. So, the other ones, I can't see a good fight scene with the other Grimm. Since the fighting and the combat is what they've been focusing on in Volume 7, and those fight scenes were the highlight, in my opinion. They were pretty damn epic. Especially Ironwood's battle, like, that was freaking amazing. I wanted to vote for one that would be an actual competition against the Huntresses and Huntsmen. And unfortunately, the Windigo really doesn't do much. I mean, it can make people hallucinate, but you would assume that people with a sniper rifle, like, RWBY, would be able to take it down, and it also wouldn't maybe be able to influence all of them. The Rhino, like I said, it just looks like something that they could take down easily. If they can take down a giant mammoth, which, I mean, they did in Volume 7 several times. I think they took down 3 of them, if I'm not mistaken. God, it's been a while. I can't wait for Volume 8. I actually want to see where it's going. I'm very excited. Especially with that giant whale Grimm. I want to see what that thing is. Anyways, if they took down a giant mammoth, this one wouldn't put up a fight. The hag, once again, it just seems kind of like a witch, and I don't see that being able to put up much of a fight either. It wouldn't succeed at close range, and it wouldn't succeed at long range, especially not against RWBY, who is, of course, the main character. However, the Sulfur Fish is a harder target to hit, and it can create bigger enemies to deal more damage. That would put up a massive, massive fight. And then this guy, I don't know anything about him, because unfortunately, like I said, there is no description. Yes, Father, I will be there in a moment. So yeah, you see my opinions on these. I do suggest that anyone who wants to vote for the next Grimm, do so. I honestly don't care about the drama online. I do come back at people by saying, like, people who insult others, I do insult them back as, like, a good little, haha, yeah, if you can do that to them, I can do this to you kind of thing. It's not like me being offensive or anything, but, for example, someone called out Hero Hey, and I replied to them with, hey, how about you don't write a wall of text and maybe come up with something a little bit more clever? Because your attempt at being clever just turns out as a giant wall of text that doesn't really end up as an insult. And they go, hey, I don't know what to tell you, man. I just wrote this out in like 2 minutes. I just let it flow, my man. And I go, oh, well, at least you put more effort into this than your sex life. That's an insult. And I put that in parentheses. And they go, is it really? And I go, since it was made in order to prove a point, it was made very quickly, in about 30 seconds, and it was made in an offensive manner. Yes, that is the definition of an insult. My point is, yes, I won that debate. They never replied. So yeah, I do that occasionally when I see that kind of drama online, just because if you want to insult people, get a life. That's all I have to say. But when it comes to these kind of stuff, I don't let that influence my decision. I saw Hero Hey promote the Windigo. I saw the voice actress of Korra promote the good old Rhino Grimm, which I don't even care what it's called, because once again, I just don't give it any sort of attention. I don't know the names of the Grimm, and I never probably will, so there's no point in me remembering them now. My point is, I don't care about the names unless they're very easy, like the Hag, the Windigo, or the Sulfur Fish. Those are just easy to remember, okay? Most of the Grimm are like, they have weird names. A lot of the time it's in German or whatever. Like, how the heck am I supposed to know those? So, yeah. Although Ursa's are easy because of Ursa Ring, the Pokemon. My point is, and Nevermore's is like, the Raven. Get it? Ha ha ha. Okay. As a poet, I actually know that one. I can remember Nevermore because, or is it Evermore or Nevermore in RWBY? Ah, fuck. My point is, I made my decision based on what I want to be and what's coming up in RWBY. Not what RWBY was, but what RWBY currently is and what it may be. That is what I based my opinion on. Not previous seasons, not even Volume 6, but what I estimate not even Volume 7, I mean, but what I estimate Volume 8 to be. Yeah, anyways, I'm going to end this video here because I do actually have to go home. But, as you guys heard my dad yell for me, time to go home. I miss visiting my parents. I saw my doggo today. I'll put a picture of her up on screen. I love you, doggo. Her name's Isabel, or as I call her, Izzy. Or just Bud. I call her Bud a lot. Anyways, that's all. Bye, everyone. How are you doing, Bud? You doing good today? Under the collar. Yeah. Oh, right in there. Right in there. Yeah. You like right under the collar, don't you? No, she actually likes butt scratches. That's her favorite. There you go. Okay. I gotta go home, Bud. Love you. Okay, yeah, see, she brings her butt over to me because she likes the butt scratches, don't you? The little alfalfa hair. You're so cute. Oh, I love you. Bye-bye, bud. I gotta go. I gotta go home. Bye.